Hello everyone, this is Eunice and I will be taking you on my art journey, especially going through my crisis, per se, on art, especially as an artist myself. And we will be looking back on my art appreciation course in Vineyard, especially the modules that I've taken up and the class activities I've accomplished during the class. Let's get right into it. First module I wanted to bring up is art and history. Now you got me thinking, Eunice, you hate history. Why are you talking about history? And out of all the topics that you've chosen, why this? I know, right? Even I am surprised with myself. I hate history. Let's be honest, I get super bored. But when it involves art, maybe I have some little interest in it. So I started reading the modules about it. And I saw how art developed over time. Like from back during the Egyptian period, and we really say that we're better artists than them when they pretty much almost started it with, or just even the cave paintings, it started there. So can we really say that we are better artists than them? I don't think so. Because at the time, they only had very limited resources. So I think, in a sense, the better question to ask is, can we really understand art without understanding its context? So I think context and history, it just made me realize how important it is to not just look at art, assess it, criticize, judge it, without even understanding its context, its history, its materials, and why people do it in the first place. Alright, considering what I said about art and history, with art being limited with the resources had at the time, and it develops just as the technology and resources develop over time, let's think about art and society. So I thought about it, and a lot in the module is concerned about how society is reflected in art, and art becomes this social protest. Art is like a voice to so many people, and it changes society in a way, the same way that society changes art. So they come very much hand in hand, showing that in the middle of all of it, it's people who bridges art and society together. They show their experiences through their art, and then whatever they gained as a viewer of artworks, they would gain that and have their own insights and spread it or even express it, convey the message in other forms, whether it be violence or even more art. It has quite the influence, I would say, for art and history to be a cycle, a sort of cycle and a chain that never ends, as for as long as people continue to express the way that they are. Given that art is a reflection of society, let's move on to my personal favorite topic, which is art and gender. As we all know, history is written by the patriarchy, and a big chunk of it is missing, apparently, because we don't know yet, or we have yet to learn about the perspectives of women and individuals in the LGBTQ community during that time. But for me, personally, I want to focus more on what heterosexual males really see in a woman. In class, even just as we were typing out the names of the artists that we want to present, or the certain artworks that we want to showcase for our activities in general, majority of the time it's male. Only very little women artists or female artists were presented during the time, and understandably so. I don't blame my classmates, nor do I blame a lot of us. Even women have to choose those popular artworks are still made by men. And it makes me quite sad to see that even here in the Philippines, not a lot of female artists are recorded in history, and we had to rely on what the male artists saw during that time to focus more. I researched and I see majority of the time, okay, when you search nude paintings, it will always be a woman. Sometimes there would be some male nude paintings here and there, but it's always a woman. And guess what? Whoever drew those nude women paintings are also male. And it just makes me think, why? What is it about us females that attracts heterosexual males and they want to portray us in this certain way? I did some research. There was some psychology involved where it's because males want something that they don't have, the way that women have curves and all that, but males, they don't have. They're very angular and very straight and sharp as compared to a woman's features. Compared to geometric shapes like a circle, a square, they're very perfect and precise, and they were made by humans. But in nature, you'll never see that because none of it is perfect, and none of it, if you notice also, is a lot of waves and curves. And I think nature in a way is similar to a woman, and women become the bridge that connects man and nature. Alright, so now that we've tackled our 3 modules, let's move on to my class activities. So the first one was the sandbox activity, and it made me really think, wow, why is this the activity on the first day of school? It's so interesting because, again, our course is art appreciation, but I love how this activity makes us question whether something is even art or not. Just looking at it, even without hearing other people's answers, I knew immediately that as much as certain artworks gave such a violent reaction out of me, that is exactly why it's art. Now, it makes me question, does that mean that everything we see is art? As a multimedia student, one of the first things that we learn is art versus design. And when we consider something as art, we have to also think, what if it's actually design? So there are certain things, like a cell phone, that's just purely design. And it's made, how do I know that it's not art? It's because it's made for the people. Compared to art, where you express something, you don't care whatever you say and put into artwork, whoever's gonna get it or see it, it has the same message that you intend for them to see. Sometimes you're gonna get a completely different meaning, and that's alright, because it's art. They don't have to get it. Unlike design, where everyone, when one object is presented, everyone, no matter the background, race, they should be able to understand what this object is meant to do and what its message is. Another one of the activities that I had was the museum visits. So I visited 3. First one was DAC. These are pieces of art that I just don't normally see. I mean, I do see them, but I don't see them every day. And it just makes me wonder, oh my goodness, am I even a Banilian student for even not knowing? I genuinely didn't know that these were artworks, and I thought they were just part of the wall design. And actually, no, just art in general is something we overlook, and yet is so fundamental to society. I think that all matters in some way to show a story of someone that could change the way you see things. Yeah, that's what I learned from museum visits. So the last activity I'll be discussing is the creative response, which I just did a couple of days ago. And I thought, why do we need to make a creative response? Isn't that enough to just look at an artwork and be like, okay, I already know what I want, I got my message, got it. No, it's not enough. We consume art media every day, but where is all this information going? What's the point if we're just gonna keep digesting all this information? Where is it gonna go? That creative response project also made me realize that art is not something to just be consumed. it's really a cycle of art after another, like what I mentioned earlier, because it never ends, in a way that we continue to create, we continue to consume. For as long as we keep digesting things, we will always keep creating. And it's always a balance of things. So I guess that's what I've learned. Walking into that class with art appreciation, I thought about, I'm so excited for this class because it's about art and I want to appreciate it, and it just made me more excited to know that we have activities. To be honest, all the things that I've done in this class that involved me getting hands-on, it's the most hands-on I've felt in my second year in MMA, and genuinely it helped me because I needed to be in touch with who I am again. And being on the computer in front of the screen designing, again, you know the difference between art versus design. So design is quite draining, especially because it's for other people. You don't get to express yourself. And here in this art appreciation class, I was able to. And this helped me as an individual because I get to actualize who I am, especially since I just turned 20, I get to actualize what I really want to do with my life. So to be more specific, how it helps me grow as an individual is not only realizing what I've been missing, which is being able to have the time to express myself, but also having this sort of balance of art and design is what I need. I came into MMA because I wanted to make art, but no, you don't. It just makes me a little sad that I don't really get to design for myself, because you're not supposed to. It's a big no-no in the MMA industry. So I thought, am I ever gonna express myself? It's really important to have some sort of balance. So even after this art appreciation course, I want to be able to express myself and do art just for me, just as a personal project. And I have to make time for it, not just find, but make time for it. And besides that, it made me realize how important, not only how important art is, but how important it is to understand art and really appreciate them and see more beauty in life. So yeah, it is a good run. That's all I think for my video. If you have any comments, please let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts. Bye!